and they can have that truth, but their truth is not the only truth in the room. And then it's like, I know the truth of who I am. And you're now anchored in that you're like, you have this like inner confidence. Even if you don't feel it right now, you have this inner confidence of knowing who you are. As always, friends, raw and real, because I don't get to decide when these messages get to be shared. It's like I receive the message and it's like it's got to come through now. You know, because when you take a shower, like energetically, you're like energetically washing things out of your field. So it's like, I'll find if I like go take a shower and go get ready before I record this, it's like then the message is just not in the same potency. And so the energy right now is saying that like you need to act on what your intuition is telling you. Your intuition says, okay, we got to record this video, then you need to record the video. Your intuition says, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Your intuition says, I think that feels like a scam. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is energetically picking up on things that your mind has not been able to grasp yet. Your mind hasn't been able to pick up on yet. So like your intuition is like moving at quantum speed, and your mind is like moving at like MS-DOS, which if you're like younger than a millennial, you probably don't know what DOS is. But, you know, if you know what DOS is, you know what MS-DOS is and how like you had to type in every single command. And like that's kind of how your mind is operating. That like your mind is working on like older software, which is like all the conditioning and like programming that you received growing up through society, through your caregivers, through whoever raised you and all the things that influenced you. And like your body is actually what's moving faster with this energy, because this energy is like coming through your energetic field and influencing your energetic field. It's why your body picks up on it. It's like, ooh, I get a weird feeling about that person. I get a weird feeling about that thing. Like it seems too good to be true, or it seems like that could be a scam. Like you have to trust your intuition, because it's when you don't trust your intuition and then you follow through on something that your intuition was telling you not to do, it goes to shit. It goes to shit. And then you're sitting there like, wow, why is this not working out? And it's like, because your intuition had already given you the guidance that that's not the path you're meant to take. And it's like, don't go down this path. There's a giant pothole down here that's going to fuck up your tire or something. Or there's a giant pothole. This road is fucked. There's, you know, a roadblock farther ahead. And like your intuition is already picking up on that. Because it's like your intuition's kind of like a drone in the sky. Your intuition's like seeing from a higher vantage point than your mind is able to grasp. So like your intuition is over here saying like, okay, like, don't go that way. And if it's not a clear yes, then it's a no in the meantime. And you need to trust that no. I've talked about this on my podcast at one point. I just haven't shared the fucking episodes. But we're going to get to that at some point. About how you have your no, your N-O. And then you have your know, your K-N-O-W. Your knowledge, your knowing. And it's interesting how we have like your no of like what is a yes, what is a no. And then your knowing. We know more of what we do want by knowing what we don't want. So your no is giving you knowledge and giving you a sense of direction. But a lot of times people just get caught in like, but I don't want this and I don't want this and I don't want this. And they're so focused on all the shit they don't want. And then they keep like attracting more of what they don't want, and then they're like, well, what the fuck? And it's like, well, your focus is continuing to feed what you don't want. And so you have so much power in your no. Like, yes, there's power in your yes, but there is a lot of power in what you say no to. And this energy, you've been trying to play small. You've been trying to play too small, because part of you is actually afraid to play as big as you really are. Like, in the spirit realm, you are highly revered. You are highly known. You are extremely powerful. And you're here to bring that energy into tangibility in this waking realm. But part of you has been very afraid of that because a lot of your human experience has not reflected that. You've been surrounded by people who didn't believe in you. You've experienced a lot of struggle in your life, and like you actually need to like disidentify with that struggle, like clear that from your field. Like, wait, hold on, I've been identifying as someone who's always experienced this struggle. And this doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge like that we have experienced struggle. It's that we don't play victim to that struggle. It's realizing, what have all of these struggles taught me? It's one of my favorite questions to ask. It's literally a pattern interruption. When you're like on that hamster wheel of like, oh my God, I've had all this struggle, and I've been a victim to all this struggle. Like the pattern interruption that gets you to stop running on the wheel is to literally ask yourself, but what has all this taught me? Because so much of what you now know has come from the contrast that you have lived. All the things that you learned that were an absolute fucking no in your life have led you to have more knowing of what it is you want. And so the energy right now is reflecting that, like, I was doing some EFT tapping today, and there was this clarity that was coming in during the tapping session about how you're feeling a lot of tension in your life, where part of you's like, well, I could just go back to these old ways and I can just play small, because like part of you's afraid to like fucking open your wings. Like your angel wings are ready to fucking open and the winds of change are blowing around. So it's not like you need to really like run and jump to take flight. Like all you gotta do is just open your wings. There's enough winds of change around that will lift you into that flight. This doesn't mean we don't take action. Like, does not mean we don't take action. Doesn't mean that we do not participate, because like your choices direct your energy. Your choices direct your focus. When you're choosing new things, you're focused on new things. So this energy, there's a lot of like you're feeling a lot of tension because like your wings are like naturally trying to open, but you're like no, I'm not gonna open them. Like you're trying to hold your wings down. And, like, that's because you're trying to protect yourself. Like, the vision that I'm getting is that, like, in your whole life, your wings were what have held you. And, like, so much of the symbolism of that is, like, this connection to spirit has been what has held you, what has protected you, and, like, wrapped you in its arms and helped you to feel a sense of safety when the environments you were in did not fucking carry that energy of safety. And you had to learn to source that from within yourself. And it sucks that like you've been in situations and environments and experiences and around certain people where safety was not a baseline. And you had to learn how to source that sense of safety within yourself. And so how did you do that? You cocooned, you came inward and discovered a connection with source, with all that isness. And now you're meant to not just allow yourself to be held in there like a tiny little baby. Like you're being guided. That's like, it's not even that you're being guided. Like your wings are like trying to open. Like, I don't know if you know what, there's like these little frisbees. But, like, they're made out of, like a mesh kind of, like, fabric. And that you can, like, twist them and, like, make them, like, super small. But then, like, when you take them out of the package, they just, like, whoa, and, like, open up into, like, a giant, like, fabric frisbee. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Like, it was an old toy that we had back in, like, the 90s and 2000s. I'll have to find a picture and, like, put it right here. Or see if I can find, like, a video or something of it. I might have one in my house somewhere. But anyways, back to the message. So the thing that I'm talking about is one of these. Okay, sorry, I just had to show you. Back to the video. So, like, that's how your energy is right now. Like, you've been, like, cocooning in, and, like, your wings are feeling that tension that's like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to just fucking open my wings and, like, let myself really show up and soar. And that it's not that you need to, like, climb on a bunch of people to, like, get up in the air so you can, like, jump to fly. Like, no. Like, all you need to do right now is just open your wings and be like, I'm open to receiving this new life. I'm open to choosing this new life. I'm open to walking the path that I know I am meant to walk, because you've continued to try to, like, walk back to, like, old paths that you've already walked down. Like, the vision that I'm getting is, like, these old paths that were rugged, and like you can tell a lot of other people had walked those paths too, and like you walked those challenging paths and you learned what you needed to learn on it, and part of you's like, well, I'm now at this, like, it's like you've got a fork in the road, and then you've got like the path that you just came from, and part of you's like turned around and walked back down the path you came from, and you're looking at all these old paths, like, which one do I take? Like, trying to go back to the old things that used to work. And like, as I've mentioned in other messages, the old things that once worked will not work anymore. You're too expanded. And like right now, your life is wanting to expand, and that expansion feels scary. It feels scary to let your life expand in the way that you know it's meant to expand, because it's going to be expanding in miraculous ways where other people in your life are going to be like, how has this happened for you? How did you do this? And it's not that you're doing it alone. That's the thing I need to make clear here. You are not doing this alone. You have an army of unseen allies that walk with you. You have an army of angels that protects you. That's why you've never had to deal with like delivering karma personally to those who have wronged you. Karma has gone, like, you've had an army of angels that have gone and delivered that karma for you. So, it's time to open your wings. It's time to really ask yourself an inquiry. What are you so afraid of with your life actually expanding? Are you afraid of worst case scenario? Because like I feel like the focus on worst case scenario is like a disease. Like it literally, like it become obsessive of focusing on worst case scenario, and then you keep manifesting worst case scenario because worrying is praying for what you don't want. And you're being guided now to live as though your prayers have already been answered. And one of the ways that you can tune into that is, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to be the version of you who's doing what they want on a daily basis? To be the version of you who is living the life that you want to live. Daydream about it. Attune to the feeling of it. And then hold on to that feeling. Even when stuff is getting hard. And I know right now, it's been hard. It's been really hard. Because you felt like your whole life has erupted and then crumbled. And like the hot lava has like hardened now over like the old aspects of your life. So like the old aspects of your life are several layers deep. And part of you is like, what do I do now? Do I need to go get a shovel and like start digging to get back to my old life? And like the message I'm receiving is part of you like literally went and bought the shovel, and then you like put the shovel into the hardened lava, and then you're like, what am I doing? Like it's becoming really clear where you're like, oh, I'm trying to go back to what's familiar. Because what you want, you think is unknown to you, but it's not. It's not unknown to you because you know what it feels like. You know what you want to experience. And I know that the right people will find this message who are in this exact place. Who are like, I know what I want, but what part of me is afraid to choose it? This is why I don't ask why questions. Because when you ask why questions, like, why won't I choose this? You can get caught on that hamster wheel for a long time, and it doesn't really give you much direction of why. So I find it more beneficial to ask what questions. What part of me is afraid to choose this? What part of me is afraid to soar? Is it because you're afraid that, you know, you're a target then? You start soaring and you're a target in the sky for people to shoot down or attack? And that, I feel like that might be something for someone here, that like when you started thriving, you had people in your life who were very critical of you, who weren't happy for your success. They were threatened by your success. So they were like, yeah, we gotta pew you out of the sky. When you open your wings, you are not just in flight with yourself. You are in flight with all of existence. you have the protection of all of existence. And the clarity is also coming through that, like, you've had this perspective that you thriving, you living this new life could have, like, painful consequences. Like, you seeing it as, like, if you come into that success, that people will be against you somehow, or you won't have the support you need in your life, or, like, there's almost like this negative association with you having success, or that, like, people will take advantage of you somehow. And the shift here is reminding yourself that, one, everything is here to help you, even when it feels like it's not. Sometimes it's here to help you by serving you contrast. It helps you learn more of what you do want. You know, and then it's just like a birdie, it just flies away. So what part of you is afraid of your life getting better? Because there's some sort of negative association there. And when you are afraid to receive what it is you want, if it doesn't feel safe for you to receive it, subconsciously you will reject it and push it away, or run away from it. And, like, the clarity here is that you've been trying to run away from it for a long time. You've been trying to run for a long time, and now you're just like, I can't run anymore. There's nowhere to run. You're now at the crossroads and there's only one path ahead. There's the path ahead and there's the path behind you. And part of you keeps turning around like, okay, well, I guess I gotta go back this way. Because it's almost like in Alice in Wonderland, where, like, the broom dog, like, comes in and just, like, just, like, dusts away the path. Like, that's kind of how you felt. Where, like, the old path has been dusted away, and you're like, I don't know what direction to go in. And it's not that you don't know what direction to go in. You do know what direction to go in. But it's your own path. It's not a path that someone else has paved for you. It's your own path that's come in to support you. And now you're just having to trust that, because in some ways you're, like, afraid to trust it because you feel like other people around me aren't going to understand it. And you're afraid that if people around you don't understand it, you're not going to have people's support. But the thing I've realized in my life, and what I'm being guided to share with you right now, is that it's oftentimes strangers that want to support you in your life more than the people who have been around in your life. And how it's a shocking reality when that's the case, and you're like, wow, what the fuck? Like, the people close to me in my life don't want to be supportive in what it is I want to do. And that's because in many ways they've seen you as this one limited perception of you, and that perception of you has been filtered through, like, their lens of awareness. And so someone else's perception of you is not the truth of who you are. And that's what this energy is bringing forth, that, like, other people are going to have their opinions no matter what you do. So you might as well do what you want to do, because other people are going to say shit regardless. And at the end of the day, someone else's perception of you isn't the truth of who you are. This is why it's important for you to know who you are. So other people can say whatever the fuck they're going to say, and you're like, well, I know who I am. And I feel this energy that, like, you have sadly been someone who has experienced a lot of people's projections and criticisms towards you. And it's, like, I know you've been really upset by that, and how that's been really hard. But at the same time, that has served you. Because when people place their projections onto you, you've now seen that, like, well, I know who I am. So these people are saying whatever they're saying, and they can have that truth, but their truth is not the only truth in the room. And then it's like, I know the truth of who I am. And you're now anchored in that you're like, you have this, like, inner confidence. Even if you don't feel it right now, you have this inner confidence of knowing who you are. And that's starting to come out more and more through your expressions. And the thing is people around you, baby girl, they have seen it. They have seen it all along. They have seen it all along. They've just been hoping that you don't see it. Because when you see it, you have a level of power and a level of potency to completely redirect your entire life. And like right now it's felt like your old life has like completely like crumbled because the foundation that it was built on pleasing other people. And so, as I've mentioned in a past video, in another video that I've recorded, that in another now, we recorded another video that was talking about how, like, you're experiencing the death of the people pleaser. And as that death of the people pleaser is dying, everything the people pleaser had built on top of that identity also has to crumble because it's not built on the authenticity of who you are. And so that's what you're feeling right now in your life. And so we've pulled some dragon cards for you to see what dragons want to come forth to assist you at this time. And so the dragons are wanting to reach out to you. The dragons come to you when you are ready to move with dragon energy. So if you've been feeling the resonance of the dragons have shown up to help and assist you and to support you. And dragons don't want to work with everybody. Like, they have a select few that they choose to work with. Those who move with integrity and those who have cultivated that inner fire. So, one, you should feel honored that the dragons are reaching out to you and that the dragons want to work with you, they want to assist you, and they want to support you. So, first thing that is coming through is you have an earth dragon that's come here. And this earth dragon clears your path in the land around you. So, as I was just saying, the old life crumbling. Like, the old life having to crumble because it was built on being someone who wasn't who you authentically were. It was built on you trying to be and mold into what you thought people wanted you to be in order for you to feel loved and accepted. And now you're at this point where you're like, okay, I don't need to be searching for other people's love and acceptance by molding who I am to be what they want me to be. I can receive that love and acceptance from myself now. And let that be a foundational basis of your life that you can then build on top of. So saying stay grounded, be ready to serve, stuck energy is clearing, and you can move forward in your life, which is so beautiful because I know this time has felt really challenging for a lot of us, and you felt this like resistance with moving forward where you're like, oh, I want to move forward, but I like just haven't felt that like it's like when you get your lawnmower like stuck in like a ditch or like a hole in your yard and you're like trying to like get the wheel out of the hole and you're sitting there rocking the lawnmower back and forth and it's just like it's stuck. That's kind of how you felt, where you felt like you've been kind of like halfway in this hole, and that's been a hole of disempowerment. That's like you're now leaning out of that and realizing like, okay, you can't move forward from disempowerment. And that's just the reality of what's coming through right now. You cannot move forward in a state of disempowerment. Because if you try to, anything you create is only going to bring more disempowerment into your life. And it's okay to have moments where you're like, man, I feel disempowered with this chapter right now. It's okay to feel that way. But this energy is saying that like things are starting to move and you need to start shifting your direction and your attention to like, how does it feel to soar? How does it feel to fly before you take flight? So the earth dragon is a fourth dimensional brown dragon, the color of the soil. They love the planet and the land itself, and it was these sturdy dragons who helped to build the original dragon lines that we now call ley lines. And part of their service work is to travel along them to clear them when asked to do so. When we send an instruction to the earth dragons to work with the ley lines, they can power a way under the surface to clear any blockages, and this hugely impacts people and situations in the vicinity. They can also help to ground us and our mission in this life. So right now you are feeling like I've had this mission, I've had this vision of what I meant to do, and like the grounding it into physicality has been the hard part for you. So like now that is clearing. We're like, you have assistance here. So I'm saying about you have like unseen allies that are here to help you beyond the physical realm, that are here to support you and like grounding in your vision of what it is you want to experience and grounding in that mission. So it's time to clear unwanted energies that are preventing your life from moving forward. Some of these may be in earth under your home, your office, or where you travel. Call on these earth dragons and ask them to remove all that is not in accordance with divine light, and then sense the frequency rising within the land and on your path. This card also suggests you may be called on to do planetary service work, as earth dragons will take the opportunity to cleanse any ley lines you focus on. Take a moment to direct them to clear the planetary grid and visualize the grid glowing and shimmering. And when you walk, think of the earth dragons and connect with them through the earth. Ask them to ground you in your vision, for this card signifies that they are now boosting your spiritual journey and you are ready to fly. Oh my gosh, like the divinity of that. Notice the progress you make. So this right here, notice that progress. So even if you're not feeling like, heavily delving into working with the dragons, it's just calling that energy into your life if you feel the resonance with it and if you so choose to work with it. Of like, yes, please assist me. You have assistance available, but you have to ask for it. Because the unseen allies in your life, they do require your free will in order for you to give permission for them to help you. They cannot intervene unless if you ask. So you have energy here that is like clearing the old. And that's where part of like that people pleaser energy that's dying, where like you're just like, okay, old energy is clearing because you're now setting new boundaries. Now you're now choosing to move in new ways. So you have one more dragon here that would like to come out, and this is an earth and air dragon, which definitely that earth energy coming through here to support you in grounding in your energy, grounding in your vision. Because like you have to be grounded before you can take flight. Because otherwise, like, your sense of, like, equilibrium's all fucked up, and then you can't fly very well. So, you've got here, represents the perfect balance of heaven and earth. And as I have said, in 2024, heaven arises now. We choose the frequency of heaven now. What does that look like? What does that feel like to us? It's more important about the feeling part than the look part, but, like, focusing on what does heaven feel like for you? Because you're here to call that into existence on this time, on earth, in this quantum now. You have that power. So stay balanced, ground your visions, and manifest your hopes and dreams. Fourth dimensional brown and blue earth and air dragons breathe life force, hope, and vitality into our hopes and dreams while enabling us to ground them. So yes, part of you lately has felt like there has been that, like, I don't want to say loss of passion, but you haven't been feeling as enthusiastic with where you want to go because you've been so focused on the challenges that you've been navigating that you've really lost sight of, like, well, where do I want to go? What's the excitement? And part of you kind of lost sight of that because at one point you just decided that, like, well, I guess it must not be meant for me. And that's just not true. That's just not true. The delay hasn't been a denial. And so you have to remind yourself of that. Some of you, this has been years in culmination because you've had a big mission and a big dream of things that you want to do, things you want to be, things you want to experience, and you have had to energetically match up to that. And like the version of you who first had the vision and the version of you now, like there's a big gap there because you have had to like energetically evolve in so many ways to reach that point because you have to energetically be the version of you that can hold, and you have to be the version of you, like the version of you who is experiencing what it is you desire isn't the same version of you that had the vision to begin with. Like the vision, when you receive the vision, like the vision for what you desire is psychic evidence from your future self who already has it. Because if part of you didn't already have it, you wouldn't already want it. This is how like we are assisting ourselves through time. Because time is not this linear thing of what we think of. This is where you can send that love back to the version of you who received that vision years ago. You can send, support and assistance from your future self, or what we would call our future self, but from another aspect of yourself to this version of yourself. And it's like, you don't have to love what you're going through, but can you love the version of you that's going through it? Okay? So the earth and air dragons here, they bring us into balance and harmony so that our visions can manifest in physical reality. Yes, we have to be moving in that inner harmony for those things to come in. And the harmony doesn't mean that everything's perfect. The harmony means that you are energetically in the space to be able to receive what it is you desire. Because if you don't feel energetically worthy of receiving it, it just can't even physically come to you. So to do this, we first picture our castle in the air and then ground it. These glorious dragons help us with this process. And this card indicates that it is a time to clarify your hopes and intentions. Ask the brown and blue earth dragons to illuminate your visions, because you've definitely felt like you've lost sight of them for a while, where like you've been so focused on like, trying to navigate the day-to-day challenges and the things that have been coming up that, you've kind of lost sight of like, what is your vision still? And like, I find it's really beneficial to like get into dialogue with the dragons and then write that out. Like write it out as if it's already happened. The guidance here is also to, like, instead of making a vision board, you need to do like a vision board bingo card and like start putting down on that. What are the visions? What are the things you want to be experiencing? And you can have 6 to 8 bingo cards. It's totally okay. Like, let it be something fun. Because fun is really the key. When you're having more fun, everything just aligns differently. Everything aligns better. So ask the dragons to help you take all the necessary action to bring those visions into physical reality, and this will re-energize your life. These dragons also offer you assistance in rising above your challenges while remaining grounded in the beautiful vibration of Earth. They enable you to find the perfect balance so that your life can truly flow with grace and ease. So call on them now and ask them to help you understand the purpose of your life's lessons and see the highest good in all of people and situations. This is where, like, shifting that focus from, like, worst case scenario to everything's working out best case scenario. Everything is flowing in my favor. And seeing, like, looking for evidence of how is everything flowing in your favor. Because sometimes your ego is going to be like, everything's not flowing in my favor, and here's all the fucking reasons why. And, like, sometimes that's where you have to redirect that focus of, how is everything flowing in my favor? And the way that I love to do this is asking the question, what is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? What is this showing me? How is this assisting me? And looking to see those things. Because when you start training your mind to look to that, that becomes all you start seeing. Of like, ooh, this is here to help me. This is here to help me. This is here to help me. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is here to help me, you know, have a funeral for my people pleaser, so I'm no longer tolerating shit I don't want to tolerate anymore. Oh, this is coming in and showing me contrast of how I do not desire to, you know, this is showing me the contrast of how I am no longer going to allow certain people to treat me and talk to me in the ways that they have. Like, you know, looking to how all of these things are here to support you, because everything's here to help you. As you see the lessons presented to you on your ascension pathway from a new perspective, your life will be filled with joy and purpose. Let the earth and air dragons breathe their life force into each of your 12 chakras and bring your life into balance and harmony. Relax as they do this, and you will have a new sense of calm and equilibrium as you walk your divine path. Because, like, that's what you're here for, is to not just walk the divine path, but, like, to walk it and feel a sense of equilibrium, feel a sense of balance. And so, tuning into, what does that balance feel like for you? When you think of it on a day-to-day basis, what does that balance feel like? Does it feel like, oh, I have the ability to go to the gym, money just isn't an issue, and like, what do those things feel like? And I find it's easiest for me to do this. Sometimes it's easy to do during journaling, but I find one of the easiest way to do it is when I'm driving. To just like have a chat with the universe, the dragons, whatever energies that you connect with. It could be the fairies, it could be the unicorns. For me lately, it's been the gnomes. Like, the gnomes have come in to like support. So, you know, tuning into, you know, what does this new way feel like? And calling upon what is here already that you feel connected with that can help and support you. And right now, like as I was saying earlier in this video, that like your wings are ready to expand. It's your dragon wings that are ready to expand. This dragon within you that like you stuffed down and you tried to tame it and like tried to keep it from like blowing its fire on people, when like no, like some people needed that fire. Some people needed you to blow that fire on them of like excuse you, you don't get to treat me that way. Like that fire is like the fire of your boundaries. And like you've gone through the process of like taming that dragon, and now it's time to let that dragon be wild, let that dragon be free, let that dragon take flight again. Because the dragon within you is ready to fly. The dragon within you is ready to let their fire breathe. Because your fire is, like in Survivor, your fire is your life. But we are no longer living the life of Survivor. That's what you need to know here, 3333, as I say this. You are no longer identifying as the life as a survivor. You are now moving into a new era and a new chapter of you thriving. And right now, we've got a couple, like, you're right there. Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle arrives. And that's what's coming through here. Like, part of you's like, man, I've been reaching my capacity. I don't know if I can keep going. You've been hitting an edge. And part of you is realizing, like, now's not the time to quit. now is not the time to give up, because you are right at the edge of the diamond mine. You are right on the cusp. And I know you have moments where you feel that, where you're like, I am on the cusp of something great, but like it just hasn't come in yet fully into materiality. And this is where we are calling upon the dragons to assist us in bringing that energy from the quantum sea, from the quantum field, and helping us to reel it in into our physical reality. And how can we bridge that gap? We can bridge that gap by attuning more of our focus to how does it feel to already have it. Because when you're attuning to how does it feel to already have it, you're attuning to the version of you that just already has it, and then you're just moving as that version of you. This is how we're playing with different versions of ourselves through time. We're calling through this energy of time the version of you that already has what you desire. It might feel a little foreign at first. You might first feel like, oh, I'm faking it. Like, it might feel a little weird at first. But, like, that's where I find I'm not going to say the shortcut or the workaround, but, like, just the thing that I find helps me the most is just keep bringing yourself back to what does that feel like? What does that feel like? And when stuff feels shitty and you're experiencing the contrast of life, you shift that focus. It's like setting the intention of, when I'm experiencing contrast and I start getting lost and complaining about the contrast, I catch myself and I remind myself to shift my focus to, what is this contrast showing me? Because the contrast does serve you. It's like, ooh, this shows me how I don't like this lack of freedom, or I don't like the constriction of this. Ooh, well, this is reflecting to me where I want more expansion. This is reflecting to me where I want more freedom in my life, where I want more balance, where I want more flow, where I want more passion, more joy, more ecstasy to be alive. And like, that's the way you are meant to live. You are meant to be this, you're a very passionate person. And you are meant to be this person who is ecstatic to be alive, who is passionate, enthusiastic, and just like has a fire of warmth that comes off of you. And it's also a fire of power. It's such a paradox. But that's what you're here for. And you have to embrace just being this walking paradox. Knowing that you're not doing anything wrong, you're actually being all of who you came here to be. And so this new era is unfolding for you. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited for you. And so right now, when things feel hard and things feel challenging and you're seeing all this contrast, you have to catch yourself and remind yourself, what is this showing me about life that I do want? And we start attuning to that. And it can be so simple as, yeah, when I think of the version of me who never has to worry about money, like, she just goes to the grocery store and gets what she wants. She goes to the nice grocery store. She gets the nice local produce. Like, she goes and she does the things that she wants to do. She's able to do the nice little health treatments to take care of herself. She can go get IV therapy. She can go, get acupuncture because that's what she wants. Like, tuning into that version of you and, like, connecting in with that version of you. Because when you connect in with that version of you, it's like you literally, like, send out this cord from your higher heart to that version of you, and it, like, connects you both across all time, space, and dimension. And it's like through that connected cord is where you start receiving that version of you's consciousness. And at first it might feel really weird because you're like, wow, that version of me has a very different consciousness in how that version sees you. But the more you start receiving more of that consciousness and realizing, like, oh, this is here to support me. This version of me thinks of these things and these challenges in different ways. The more you start integrating that that consciousness, the closer and closer that version of you gets to you, until eventually you just are merged with one another, because you're actually not separate. You are not separate from the life that you desire, and the life that you desire is desiring you. But things are aligning and orchestrating for it to come to you, for like you both to meet each other. So it's time for your dragon wings to open. It's time for you to take flight. You're almost there. You're almost there. Okay? No matter what challenges come up, sometimes you just need to, like, take a deep breath in and, like, universe, I'm giving these challenges up to you. Fairies, I'm giving these challenges up to you to help me with. Dragons, I'm giving these challenges up to you to help me with. Gnomes, I'm giving these challenges up to you to help me with. Call upon that support, because it is here for you, and it's waiting for you to call upon it for assistance. And this doesn't mean that we give that power away to those things to like do it for us, but we're calling those energies into collaboration with us to help us through this time, because you are not alone. You are not alone. I love you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for the time to connect. And let's see, if you've made it this far in the video, comment the dragon emoji if you've made it this far, because like, you guys are my real like OG tribe, and I love you. So have a great rest of your day, great rest of your now, and yeah, comment the dragon so that I know like how many people like actually watch this all the way to the end. So it's time to take flight, friends.